again. It has been so long. I can't even believe how long I have been sick. I've been sick for a whole month. I am finally feeling better, so here I am. We're gonna play some Regency Love. Look, I'm even plugged in. Make sure my phone doesn't just lose like 20% battery because of it. Alright, so, oh my gosh, where did we even leave off? So, we're like barely gotten our feet wet in the Mr. Graham storyline. Can you guys see the rainbows on my skin and on my face? Like, I have a rainbow sticker in the window, and as you can see, the window is very bright, so there's lots of sunlight coming through, and you can see all the rainbows. Wait, they're not showing up now. You can see all the rainbow. Anyway, so it's pretty great. Yeah, so we're barely into the Mr. Graham storyline. We did finally find him, and I was just too sick to care, so I barely did anything. So let's go ahead and see oh my gosh, there is something almost everywhere. All right, let's check out what we need to do. Tidy the house. All right. Okay, I know that we've already done this in the last game, so let me just like... Yes. Oops. Oh, I didn't get the points. Oh my gosh, that's the whole reason of doing these things. Okay. Okay, so wait a second. We're walking... I don't remember this one. You're walking through the woods near the bramble bushes when you notice something strange on the ground. It appears to be a loose loop of rope attached to a tree with a half-eaten pork pie in the middle. What a waste of pie. The hermit isn't likely to find it while it's still fresh. How amusing. I'd rather like to meet this hermit myself. You carefully avoid the trap and continue on your way home. Points. Shoot. I don't remember the answer to this one. Got it. Okay. I really don't remember what the conclusion or solution is for the Hermit in the Woods storyline. So, yeah, no. I will not be taking tea with Miss Ashcroft this time. Emma Woodhouse is friggin' rich. Okay, I don't want to dance with you. Okay, there's a lot to do with the Earlwood, so let's go ahead there. You and Mary plan to paint each other's portraits. That sounds fun! You have barely set up your easels when you are interrupted by Lettice bursting into the room in tears. Oh, Lettice, go finish your milk and biscuits and leave us be. But why can't I have a new doll? Why? Charlotte has one and so does Emily, but I haven't had a new doll since last Christmas. I'm sure Miss Sharp didn't get a doll in the last month. That's... Oh, please. Okay, Lettice dear, do calm down. I can give you one of my dolls if you'd like. No, I want a new doll with a beautiful dress and a tiny hat. Before Mary can say anything further, Anna enters the drawing room with a frown on her face. Lettice immediately stops crying. Miss Hannah. Anna is disappointed. Lettice's eyes widen. Do not think that Anna has not found out about the mess Miss Hannah has made in the nursery. Dolls everywhere. What is happening? Miss Hannah has not looked after her old dolls, so Miss Hannah does not deserve a new one. Why is she calling her Hannah, but her name is Lettice? But anyway, she talks in a small voice. But what if I'm really good? What if I look after them? Will I get a new doll then, Anna? Nein. Before you get a new doll, you should think about where you keep your other dolls. Right now, they are lying around like rubbish. Aww. Are your dolls rubbish? Do you want Anna to treat them like rubbish? Anna can go take them out with the other rubbish and bury them like horse manure. Okay then. No, Anna, please don't do that. Good, now go and show your dolls that they are not rubbish. Show them that you are not selfish and heartless. Show them that Miss Hannah cares for them. Lettice obeys and heads for the nursery with Anna on her heels. That story made no sense. All right. So many points. Okay then. Alright. Oh my gosh, so many Earlwood things! You and Mary are both particularly fond of line dances, and are deciding on which steps to practice first. You are once again interrupted by Lettice, who comes bounding in with a large dollhouse balanced precariously on her hands. Elizabeth, look at what I have, isn't it beautiful? Let's see. Indeed it is. Never seen. Careful. Okay. It is indeed. Goodness, I have never seen a dollhouse so carefully constructed. Anna made it for me. She said the new dolls become old dolls very quickly, and that a proper dollhouse is more special than any doll. She said that if I was very good and treated my old dolls well, then she would see what she could do about a dollhouse. Oh, Elizabeth and I have been so good. I have fixed my dolls' clothes and made them new dresses and hats. Mary and Harriet helped me, of course, but Anna said she was proud of me. And one day she nodded at me and went to chop up some wood, sawed through it, and took out her kit and made this for me. Anna enters the ballroom with her hands on her hips. Miss Hannah, are you disturbing Miss Mary and Miss Elizabeth again? Why does she call her Hannah? I don't understand. Yes, but they don't mind. I'm just showing Elizabeth my new dollhouse. Well, you have now finished showing. Let us go. Anna easily picks up the dollhouse and leaves the room with Lettice close on her heels. I don't understand. Okay, well. You make one of your regular visits to the Earlwood house. Yes, these are quite regular. After greeting Mr. and Mrs. Earlwood, you and Mary settle into the drawing room for some tea. Suddenly you hear quite a commotion coming from another room. You think you hear Lettice squeal, and then realize she is doing so in delight. Well, I suppose that means Anna has finished her chores. Without warning, Lettice comes swinging into the room with her hands around Anna's left arm. She giggles while dangling mid-air. Anna nods at you as if holding Lettice's full weight on one arm is effortless as breathing. Good afternoon, Miss Sharp. It's nice to see you again. How have you been, Anna? Is your family well? I am good, and yes, they are. The weather is mild over there this time of year. Thank you for asking. Miss Hannah, we should leave your sister and Miss Sharp to finish their tea. It would be a waste otherwise. Anna, why do you always call me by my middle name? No one else does. Oh! Okay. Because... Oh. So, you guys telling me that her name was Lettice, when maybe it really is just lettuce. Because lettuce is like lettuce, and I do not like eating lettuce. If you have 3 names, Miss Lettuce Hannah Earlwood, you should use all of them at least once, no? Also, Miss Hannah sounds like Anna, no? Lettice giggles and tries to climb onto Anna's back. Climb, climb, Miss Hannah, climb until we are outside. Anna and Lettuce leave the room. I don't know what to call her now, Lettuce or Lettice. Let's just call her Lettuce. Like the vegetable. You can still hear their laughter. Well, to think that we used to swing on Anna's arms both at the same time. I think I took the left and you took the right. Those were the days. No points? Ugh. That gave me nothing. Hey, not yet. Okay. Okay, it's time. Let's go see our man. On your way into town, you encounter Mr. Graham, who brightens upon seeing you. Of course he does. Good morning, Miss Sharp. You look very well and are quite becoming as always. As do you. I dare say I've grown quite fond of your attire. Then I shall write to His Majesty and thank him for providing it. I dare say I have been admiring the needlework on your dress. Did you have a hand in it, perchance? Do I want to be like, this was difficult, or, this was easy? It was just a little bit of stitching and is nothing extraordinary. But I think it is wonderful. I am particularly fond of the way the different colors interact to form all these delicate flowers. Such exquisite work. Yeah, it is. Don't know what it looks like, but I bet it is. As you guys can see, I am still a little sick. I'm sorry I'm coughing so much. You really are quite fond of such things. I admit I'm a little surprised. That a soldier can also be so sentimental? I assure you, we can be the severest of offenders. Something seems to catch Mr. Graham's attention, and he stops walking. If you would just excuse me for a moment. Oh, look, he's picking daffodils. Oh, that's really cute. I love this. Look at this. This is great. Ah, the cutest. Mr. Graham moves towards a small patch of wildflowers he's found, crouches to study them carefully, and picks the one most perfectly formed. It is no match for your embroidery or for your fair self, but Mr. Graham gingerly offers you the flower. Aww. Let's put the flower in our hair. Now let us continue with our journey. What a cutie! Where's G? Oh, there we go. Ah. I love that part of the book. I love how, like, like, you go the whole book without getting to know Captain Wentworth, like, at all. And he's just a dude, and you don't know him. And then, I mean, you know him, but you don't really get to, like, know him. And then this happens, what's happening here on the screen. And then it's just like, oh, he's, like, awesome. And then at the end, and then the book is over. And that's it. So, that was the plot in, like, 7 seconds or less, whatever that was. Alright, points. I'm doing really good on points this round. Ooh, a dance at Denniston. Mrs. Earlwood has decided to host a dance to which you have been invited. Let's go. Whoa, full house. Oh, look who it is. And here we are again, Miss Sharp. Mr. Graham, I hope you are enjoying the evening. I am indeed. As a close acquaintance of Mr. and Mrs. Earlwood, I wonder, do you think of these balls and dances as a normal occasion rather than a novelty? That's a good question. I don't know what I think. Let me read my options. Okay. Do I even want to say I'm quivering with excitement? And you simply do not know. Honestly, let's say it. In which case, I hope you'll forgive me for making such an unjust assumption. Though I confess it saddens me a little that everyone is so at ease here when not all is as well as it seems. Oh, I don't understand your meaning. Would you please elaborate? No, I understand his meaning. The war against Napoleon is not as far as it seems. On the contrary, the French are a very real threat. When it comes to the matter of protecting our lands, I have every confidence in the army and in you. And that is a large burden, Miss Sharp. Oh, look, he looks sad. Or pensive, perhaps? What concerns me the most is the dissatisfaction that can be found in the general English populace. I'm afraid the speculations about potential change might become too much, and we will be changed forever. Not all change is bad, Mr. Graham. Perhaps the time is right for such progress. I don't think I can agree. Oh no, let's try to agree with him. Maybe that'll progress our story. That is a worrying thought, though it remains only a thought until it becomes otherwise. I don't think it. Oh, he probably doesn't agree with anything she says. And yet, despite the events occurring around us, we are here at a ball where the gentlemen and their ladies laugh and dance away without a care for the world, as if their very livelihoods are not at threat. What would you have them do? Rally their forces of household staff, change into their finest Sunday attire, and charge onto the battlefield with their kitchen knives? I am obliged to concede to your point. Forgive me, Miss Sharp, I've been reading too many political tracts. My head is swimming with their ideas. Now is certainly not the time or place for such discussions. Please, I hope you'll accept my apologies for broaching such a grim subject. You guys can really see the rainbows now. They're, like, all over me. I like that. Like... so fun. It's, like, all over my desk. It's great. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Let's start from the left. There's Mama. Mary. Aha! Mr. Graham. Miss Sharp, I must apologize again for my behavior earlier. It was most unacceptable. You are forgiven, though I remain a little concerned for your well-being. And for that I am grateful. I have come to entreat you to a dance. Shall we put the episode behind us and engage in merrier affairs? Yes, absolutely. Let us dance for now, but let us not forget what has transpired. I am concerned for you, and your thoughts are important to me. I thank you, Miss Sharp. Come here, Salem. Come up. Come on. Hi, Salem. Oh, look at Spooky Kitty. This is such a good boy. He's a good boy. Alright, you wanna chill? Oh, there we go. Okay. You wait for the current dance to finish before joining another pair for the upcoming quadrille. Soon, you and Mr. Graham are falling into familiar steps. Mr. Graham converses a little throughout the dance, and when the music ends, he appears to be in slightly better spirits. There, a happy tune has been had. Refraining from smiling is not only an insult to the musicians, but also to your stellar dancing partner. I may be foolish, but I do not wish to suffer the consequences of insulting the latter. Shall we perhaps get something to drink? I have heard rumors that the punch is quite excellent. There's the guy with the hair! I love this guy. Oh, another man. Look at his nose. Okay. We can't talk to him anymore? Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Oh, shoot. What was it? I just had this one. It was something well, right? Yeah. Donwell? Yes. I totally forgot that. Hi, Salem. You purr. You purring. Alright. Okay. What else can we do? Okay. Don't want that. Don't want that. Salem is just sitting on my desk now. Good. He's so much bigger now. There you go. Oh. Salem scarf. There we go. I used to be able to do this so much easier. Oh my gosh. We made it. We made it. Alright. Let's sing through our repertoire. I have like cat hair on my face. Okay. Let's do some stuff. There's no point. Okay, so let's go shopping with Mary. Cat hair. excuse me, because I'm still sick. I like my rainbow tissue, though. Okay. Just feel like there was, like, cat hair somewhere around here. So. Okay. This is such great content for my YouTube channel. But I'm not going to edit it out. Because I'm too lazy for that. Alright, so you and Mary are doing a spot of shopping in town when you see Mr. Graham, who approaches you both with a smile. Good afternoon, Miss Sharp, Miss Earlwood. Mr. Graham, I trust you have been settling in well? I have, thank you. Everyone in Darlington has been so kind and hospitable, I hardly know what to make of it. Oh, you mustn't think too much of it. We are all pleased to have you here. You are most kind, Miss Earlwood. I hope I am not interrupting your business. Not at all. Elizabeth and I were debating if we should risk a visit to the circulating library in case we never leave. Perhaps you could help us decide. I don't see why you should refrain, especially when it gives you so much pleasure. Perhaps I will accompany you both if you do not object. We would be delighted by your company if the library is just about the corner. You make the short walk through the library, which is relatively empty today. Mary immediately heads towards the shelves containing the newest publications, leaving you alone with Mr. Graham. Miss Sharp, are you looking for anything in particular? Yeah, there are a few books I would like to read, though it's not a particularly urgent matter. I see. I have lately been made aware of a title that is rather... Oh, I'm not sure if I should continue. Oh, I remember where this is going! Oh, goodness. I suspect you're about to mention something inappropriate. Do continue. Well, if the lady insists. Have you heard of Fanny Hill? Yes, I have. I have indeed. Are you confessing that you are well acquainted with that particular title? Perhaps. One of the men in the regiment has a copy in his rather private collection, and he saw it fit to share it with his peers. Reading its pages became a sort of unspoken initiation. Of course it was. A most disturbing thought. Is that so? And how did you find your initiation, Mr. Graham? I suppose it was instructive. Right. It appears Miss Earlwood has found a volume. Let us join her. Oh my word. By the time you reach her, Mary has already completed her transactions and is proudly holding her book. Elizabeth, I have found Mrs. Hatton's latest novel. It is called Secret Avengers. What a marvelous title. That's wonderful. Please say you'll lend it to me once you're finished. Of course. Miss Earlwood, you seem to be quite a fan of the authoress. Yes, indeed. Oh, how I wish to return home and be acquainted with it immediately. If you won't mind our swift departure, Mr. Graham. Of course not. I hope you enjoy your book, Miss Earlwood. Mr. Graham nods to you both, though he seems to be avoiding your eye, and takes his leave. Aww. I tried not to be too, mean about that. I feel like any actual lady of that time would have been like, oh! And then, fanning herself. What's going on with my camera here? Oh. There was cat hair. It was in my lip balm. There we go. Just have a colorful face today. Where is it? There. Fun. Okay. Anyway, okay, so she was a woman. Okay, she was a woman who spent her days nicely dressed on the sofa doing some lunch. Okay. Don't remember what this is. Oh, I do remember what this is. There we go. Man, look at me go! I'm already over halfway. In, point-wise. I don't think I'm even halfway storyline-wise. Alright, we're running errands in town. Oh, the music is different. You have finished your errands and are about to walk home through the woods when you see Mr. Graham, who seems to be heading in the same direction. Miss Sharp, it appears our paths cross once again. Are you on your way home? Yes, indeed. If you are also heading in the same direction, then perhaps you would like to accompany me on the walk. I would be delighted. It is a fairly pleasant day, and you both walk without speaking for a while. Eventually, Mr. Graham breaks the silence. You appear to have something on your mind. Would you like to share them, Miss Sharp? Oh. These woods always make me a little nostalgic. My father and I used to spend many hours walking here together. Colonel Watson has told me a little about your father and his passing. Though they were not closely acquainted, please accept my condolences. It has been more than a year, but sometimes I feel his loss as if it were only yesterday. Losing a loved one is never easy. I do not think we ever forget, and we shall not. I confess I would be terribly upset should any ill befall Colonel Watson or any of my fellow soldiers. They have become like family. What of your own relations? Both my parents have passed away, if that is what you are asking. And how about yourself? Do you have any other family apart from your mother? Ooh. I have an aunt on my father's side who lives in London, but we're not particularly close. And I have an elder brother. That is all I wish to say on the matter. I understand. Let us move on to something more pleasant. It is not that I wish to bring up grave matters, but I feel so comfortable with you that such matters of the heart tend to surface quite frequently. If it helps ease your mind, I do not object to the topics of our conversations. Ah, Miss Sharp, I am most unworthy of your friendship. I shall henceforth attempt to delve into happier thoughts. You do indeed start speaking of lighter things, and spend the rest of your walk listening to Mr. Graham recounting the adventures of Colonel Watson's 2 beloved hounds. Oh, that's sweet. Pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves. Something else to what we would have others think of us. I don't remember. Vanity. Yes, I do remember. It's vanity. Okay. Look, you guys see, I'm doing better at this game now. Okay. After browsing the collection of the circulating library, you decide to take several titles with you. You've become so distracted about your new acquisitions that you do not notice you have company. Ah, Miss Sharp, I had not seen you there, my dear. Your modest features must have blended into the multitudes. Now, before you start to speak, I can see from your expression that you are ready to voice your opinion, whatever that may be. You see, I have had decades of experience, and I'm quite certain when one is about to speak and mostly bring misfortune upon themselves, you must know that modesty is indeed a virtue, and it is far better for you to remain inconspicuous in a crowd than it is to be the center of attention. Attention is fleeting and fickle, my dear, but modesty is constant. And what of yourself? Does your modesty know any boundaries, Mrs. Norris? Of course not, to even think of such a thing. It seems receiving further instructions from me would not be amiss. I do hope Mrs. Sharp is not neglecting her duties. But now that you are here, my dear... Mrs. Norris makes a frantic gesture behind her back, but all subterfuge is lost despite her seemingly stoic expression. Yes, well, now that you are here, is it not a pleasant day? You were somewhat taken aback when Mr. Digby joins the conversation, though you had not noticed his arrival. Miss Sharp, what a pleasant surprise! I was simply taking my daily stroll, and alas, here you are! Such a coincidence indeed! Yeah, right. If this is a coincidence, then surely this town is lorded over by a rather rotund cat. LOL. Meow! Oh my gosh! Lord Fat Cat. Now, I have had quite enough of a youngster's prattle for the day, and there are other matters requiring my attention, Miss Sharp. You will do well to heed my words. Mrs. Norris walks away, but not before you see her tipping her head slightly at Mr. Digby. You suspect it was to be an encouraging nod, but it does not seem to have the desired effect on Mr. Digby. Well, Miss Sharp, is the weather not pleasant today? Oh my gosh. You don't speak of much else, do you? Well, the sky is so very blue. Oh, are you bothered by a fly, Miss Sharp? I do hope not, but if you are, do let me be of assistance. Oh god, he's gonna, slap me. Mr. Digby proceeds to scour the area for flies. His expression one of determination. He's like... I love this guy. Let's sigh loudly. Is it troubling you again? Oh, I am so sorry, but I cannot seem to find it. Well, you must be in haste to be elsewhere. May your day be as bountiful and beautiful as you, Miss Sharp. Ah! Lord. Okay. You and Mama arrive at the picnic and are enthusiastically greeted by the host. Mrs. Sharp, Miss Sharp, it is splendid to see you both. Thank you ever so much for inviting us, Mr. Earlwood. There is something rather charming about picnics that you don't find in the dining room. It is entirely our pleasure. Dear Mary has been insisting on hosting picnics for weeks, and I could only oblige her. As you have always done, you do spoil the child so. No, Mama, I think Papa just wanted to give you and Mrs. Sharp an opportunity to take some fresh air while enjoying each other's company. In other words, you wish to have the opportunity to do the same with dear Miss Sharp. Well, I suppose it's all a matter of interpretation. Let's see. Emily here for the food. Oh my word. Mrs. Earlwood, we all know Mary is simply jesting. She delights in all company. And good afternoon to you, Mr. Graham. Ooh, look who's here. I hope you are well and have found Darlington to your liking. Indeed, ma'am, I am still to answer Colonel Watson's every beck and call, but my surroundings are much more pleasant. Poor Mr. Graham has been relegated to a messenger since his arrival, carrying out naught but menial tasks. But such tasks must be carried out, and if my reward is to attend fine picnics with finer company, then I shall remain a messenger. I hope it is not too forward of me, but might I ask if you have any higher aspirations than such? Indeed I do, ma'am, but every soldier must pay his due and earn the trust of his superiors. Delivering a letter or parcel might be a simple task, but doing so without complaints at any time, night or day, with utmost respect for the sensitive information contained, may be crucial to the war effort. And what do you intend to do after leaving Darlington? I have no intentions of my own, ma'am, but I follow the commands of my superiors, and I will happily relocate to a next destination whenever and wherever that may be. Even if it's the heart of the battlefields? Especially so, I will do anything for the peace and glory of our great nation. Britain is very fortunate to have men like Mr. Graham. I will certainly rest well tonight knowing he is on our side. Well, I am still only delivering messages for our side, but perhaps Napoleon will discover my unwavering dedication to the task and be impelled to surrender. But alas, I'm getting a little carried away. Mrs. Earlwood, Mrs. Sharp. I'm getting those mixed up. Would you perhaps like a scone or two? I am quite skilled at fetching. Yes, please, that would be most welcome. Mr. Graham, you are most kind. A scone would be delightful. It is done. And Miss Sharp, would you like some refreshments? I think I shall join you in the fetching. Mama can be rather particular about her tea. Your assistance would be most welcome. After the plates and teacups have been filled, your small group delights in the delicacies. Goodness me, these scones are indeed as good as I have remembered. Mrs. Earlwood, might you persuade cook to share her secrets? I'm afraid she guards them quite fiercely. I could try to put in a word for you, but I doubt the outcome will differ from the last time you made the same request. A shame. I am not particularly partial to scones, with the exception of those made by cook, which are far superior to any I've tasted. Even Mr. Stevens? Oh, Mr. Stevens is a very skilled baker, and I really do love his breads, but his scones don't have the same texture and taste that Cook has achieved. Do not be so disheartened, Mrs. Sharp. I will ask Cook to make some more of these and deliver them to you. That would be lovely, Miss Earlwood. Thank you. You really are such a dear. The afternoon passes by with idle but pleasant chatter, which creates a most agreeable atmosphere. That was it. Okay. Do I understand muslins? I don't remember. There we go. I do, apparently. There we go. All right. Ooh, Mr. Graham calls on us. Good morning, Miss Sharp. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Even if you had, I would welcome your interruption at any time, Mr. Graham. Miss Sharp, you are too kind, though I am afraid I cannot stay long. I have something for you that I have recently managed to acquire, and, well, I suppose that's all the introduction it needs. Mr. Graham gives you a piece of paper containing very neat handwriting, and which bears the heading, Cook's Scones and Variations. Oh my gosh, he got the scones! However did you acquire this? From the cook herself. After discovering your mother's preference for Cook's scones at last week's picnic, I was determined to somehow acquire the recipe for you. I gained Mrs. Earlwood's permission to speak with her cook, and when I asked for the recipe, she was most obliging. Oh my gosh. You make it sound like a simple task, though I know it could not have been. But it was. Cook is truly lovely, and she parted with her recipe most readily once I told her of my fondness for them and shared my desire to have means of replicating them. You must have expressed your fondness most ardently. Most ardently. Indeed I did, though the scones are marvelous and every word I spoke was the truth. But I'm afraid I must take my leave now, as I do have other business at hand. I really wish to deliver the recipe as soon as I could. Aww. Mr. Graham, you are singularly the kindest and most considerate man I've ever known. Thank you so very much. You are most welcome, Miss Sharp. Your words bring me great joy. Good day, Miss Sharp. I hope to see you again soon. After Mr. Graham has left, Mama enters the drawing room, no doubt full of questions. Was that Mr. Graham who just called? What an unexpected visit. Do you know of his purpose? He has somehow managed to obtain the recipe for cooked scones and saw fit to deliver his findings in person. Mama, you would be so pleased about this. Mr. Graham has given us the recipe for cooked scones. Mama takes the recipe from you and skims its contents. Her subsequent smile lights up the room. Oh, Elizabeth, how marvelous! Oh, I must give this to Mrs. Gertrude immediately. Perhaps she might be able to make a batch for afternoon tea. Mr. Graham is certainly very thoughtful and very industrious, might I add, to have obtained this for you. Is there anything you might do for him in return? Ooh. Let's make him a gift. He appreciates needlework. Mr. Graham has expressed himself very clearly that he expects nothing in return, but I think I will surprise him with some embroidery. That is a lovely idea. Get to it, then. Mama leaves the drawing room, carrying with her the recipe and a great deal of enthusiasm. That was really great. Okay. Here we go. A gift for Mr. Graham. After you have embroidered a handkerchief bearing Mr. Graham's name, you invite him to take a turn in the park, during which you plan to present his gift. You meet Mr. Graham by the... Mr. Graham? You meet Mr. Graham by the pond in the park, where he is watching the ducks with fondness. Upon seeing you, Mr. Graham's eyes light up with unreserved delight. Miss Sharp, you are looking very lovely today. As to you, Mr. Graham, have you had an occasion to try the recipe for those scones? We have, and the results were spectacular. Mama insists you should come over for tea sometime. She is most gracious. There is a moment of comfortable silence, and you take the opportunity to speak. You have given me great pleasure with your gift, Mr. Graham, and now I wish to bestow the same on you. You retrieve the handkerchief you have embroidered for Mr. Graham and present it to him. Mr. Graham's initial surprise soon gives way to a soft look about his eyes, and he takes the handkerchief, handling it with great care and tenderness. Why, Miss Sharp, this is simply... Oh, I do not know what to say! The ever-talkative Mr. Graham, finally rendered speechless, I must be in possession of some mysterious power. Yes, my lady, you are indeed. I have never owned anything so personal or so beautiful. Oh, the way you have embroidered my name, such elegance, yet so vibrant and colorful. Truly, Miss Sharp, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are most welcome, Mr. Graham. It was the least I can do in exchange for your gift. Then I do believe I have been more fortunate recipient in this exchange. Thank you, Miss Sharp. I shall treasure this, Miss Sharp, just as I treasure you. Aww. By heavens, I run the risk of admiring your work for the rest of our time here, instead of admiring your very person. I shall put this away immediately. Mr. Graham folds his handkerchief very carefully before placing it in his breast pocket. There, now I can keep your kindness close to my heart. He's so sweet! You and Mr. Graham speak of other things for an hour or two, during which he would surreptitiously pat the breast of his coat, perhaps hoping you would not notice. Oops. Bread and butter. Your household is running low on bread, and you have been tasked to purchase some more. You see Mr. Graham outside Mr. Stevens' bakery, wearing a particularly pensive look that is a little uncharacteristic of the usual jovial man. He looks up, and upon noticing you, fixes a smile on his face, although it seems a little forced. Miss Sharp, I trust you are well? Like, he does not look like he knows. Wow, look at the rainbow on my face. That is so awesome. Okay. I think a better question would be if you were well, Mr. Graham, or perhaps you were too kind, especially when it is quite apparent that you are not in your usual high spirits. You are perceptive, Miss Sharp. Forgive me for being a little amiss today. I have recently received a letter from back home, and it details quite a few things I'd rather set aside. I don't know what to say. What should I choose? You're forgiven. I hope whatever news you have received is not too distressing. Thank you for your concern. You were too kind, Miss Sharp. But I've been wondering about a certain matter, and I would like to know what you think. Is one's life determined by birth, or can it be shaped through one's choices? Has the letter brought on such thoughts? Perhaps in the smallest way, but beyond that, no. I have pondered such a question for quite some time. Over the years, I've spent much time with men from a variety of backgrounds, all fighting for a common cause. It makes me wonder if those roots mean anything at all. I may be chastised for saying so, but I would pay little attention to one's roots. After all, it is up to the individual to shape his or her own life. Surely the future is not all within one's power. No. Yes, all within one's power. I am surprised to see how firm you are in your belief. I have occasionally toyed with the idea of such possibilities for change, but I have always disregarded it as a mere fancy. Perhaps I have a spot of thinking to do. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me, Miss Sharp. I do not often hold... Gotta learn to speak. I do not often hold conversations such as these, and I appreciate you are indulging me. I do love discussing such things, and I would love to be your conversation partner for such matters once again. I'm afraid you will outthink me quite soon, and I may disappoint. Now, I believe we are currently standing right outside a bakery, which is exuding the most enticing aromas. How I would love to sample all the goods within. But alas, I have a few errands to run, and I believe you have come to town for a purpose too. Thank you for your time. I shan't take up any more of it. Mr. Graham gives you a quick bow, then follows it with an exaggerated, longing look at the bakery. He is smiling once again, and has resumed his light-hearted countenance. With how many things are we upon the brink of becoming acquainted, if cowardice or blank did not restrain our inquiry? Carelessness. Dinner at Birkenbridge. You have been invited to dine at Birkenbridge with Colonel Watson and his friends. Miss Sharp, I dare say this extended sojourn in the country has been indeed a favorable one. Did I say favorable? Okay. Just get comfy here. When I was a child, I had always yearned to leave the countryside, but now that I'm a little older and perhaps a little wiser, I have an equal yearning to return to green pastures. Darlington will always be my home, but I would very much like to see other cities, even other countries. Ah, such an adventurous spirit, but with a sensible mind. Come to think of it, I suppose many of the soldiers feel quite similarly. I think they might be grateful for the peace and quiet after their vigorous training and service. Perhaps we should ask. I have no doubt the most opinionated will be happy to offer their thoughts. But alas, I do not see Graham. I am quite certain I saw him earlier this evening, and yet... he must have left for a moment. How curious. I hope he has not been called away by anything urgent. Perhaps that is the case. Well, it will do us no good to fret about Graham's whereabouts. I suppose this means our discussion must remain unresolved for now. Wurmst. Hairbreadth missings of happiness look like the blank of fortune. Results. Okay. You and Colonel Watson are in the midst of another conversation, this time pertaining to the superior qualities possessed by squirrels, when Mr. Graham enters the drawing room and approaches. My apologies, Miss Sharp, but might I have a word with the Colonel? It is a matter of some urgency. Of course, I do hope nothing is amiss, Mr. Graham. Thank you for your concern. My apologies again. Well, Graham, you certainly have my attention. I suspect my study will be a more suitable place for our conversation, but in just a moment, if you please. Colonel Watson stands, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. He makes a quick apology for being a lackluster host before leaving the room with Mr. Graham. None of his other guests appear to make much of the Colonel's sudden disappearance, but alas, there is certainly no prospect of furthering your furry discussions for the rest of the evening. We were talking about squirrels. Alright, so... clearly, something is going on with Mr. Graham. Let's see what he says. Miss Sharp, I hope you'll forgive me for my rudeness at Birkenbridge the other evening. I know it was a rather inopportune moment, but I required some advice from the trusty Colonel. Mr. Graham, if it is not too forward of me, I have noticed that you have lately been rather distressed. If there is anything I can do, I would gladly give you my assistance. Thank you, Miss Sharp, you are a wonder. But I'm here to make amends, if possible. I thought that perhaps you might be amenable to a walk. If I'm not mistaken, I recall I had interrupted a conversation about a particular manner of furry creatures. Oh, I didn't know you had heard. Yes, Colonel Watson and I happen to share a fondness for squirrels. Splendid. I think there is a park in the vicinity that houses a great number of squirrels. You may be familiar with it. Oh, the park happens to be one of my favorite places. Yes, let's go for the turn there. I totally skipped that, so I don't know what I was saying. And go for a turn we shall. After ascertaining that Bessie is not occupied with any urgent tasks, the three of you set off for the park. Oh, I'm so glad that we have finally shown that there's a, chaperone with the girl every time that she's with a guy. Well, not every time, I guess. I guess sometimes it makes sense that she's, alone. But, thank you, game, for finally giving this girl a chaperone. Because that's how the Regency era was. Alright, so the sky is a little overcast, making it a day for a comfortable walk. A refreshing breeze brushes past you from time to time, and the park itself is lovely and quiet. As you stroll along the path, you encounter several red squirrels. Most of them dart to nearby trees at your arrival, but one with an exceptionally luxurious tail remains still and alert. Stop. Okay, the squirrel regards you for a long moment, holding her gaze with its large, intelligent eyes. When it finally bounds off, it does so at a leisurely pace, as if a decision has been made about you. You walk on for a while, occasionally seeing another squirrel or two, but though none of them linger for long. I imagine it would be quite an adventure to spend one's life as a squirrel. There'd be so many nuts to gather and trees to climb. Oh my gosh! And you would be able to sleep through the hard winter months, only to emerge in spring and frolic amongst the daisies. Indeed, and daisies are such flowers. I do think they are fascinating creatures. In fact, I think all animals are quite spectacular. Sometimes I wish there was a way to properly communicate with them. I don't, none of these make much sense. I believe those ways currently exist and our animal friends understand exactly what we mean, especially Lord Fat Cat. However, it is we humans who are inferior in communication. I hadn't considered that, but I suppose you're right. And of course, unlike humans, animals have no cause to go to war. Another upside, I should think. But who knows about the wars that are being fought right under our noses? That squirrel we just met may very well be the chieftain of its clan, ready to defend its territory from enemies. I do not wish to make light of the horrors of war, but we at least have been given the opportunity to fight for the values we hold dear. I suppose you're right. Goodness me. I am guilty of being rather unpatriotic right now, especially for a soldier. Oh, Miss Sharp, you are a treasure indeed. I know of no one else who can turn the harmless topic of squirrels into such a thought-provoking discussion. My dear Mr. Graham, you would be wrong to underestimate the power of squirrels. I believe I owe half the credit to my conversation partner, and I am more than pleased to oblige. After having made a turn about the park, you and Bessie head home, accompanied by Mr. Graham. Okay. Ooh. He's coming to our house. Miss Sharp, I hope this is not an inopportune time. Upon seeing you are busy with needlework, with needle and thread, Mr. Graham pauses mid-sentence and appears to become a little flustered. It really does it for him. Oh, I am so terribly sorry to interrupt, Miss Sharp. I shall leave you to your important work. And you are an important guest who ranks above this bit of embroidery. You are far too kind, but I'm afraid I must disagree with your assessment. I admit I am much awed by your deftness with the needle and thread. I have tried to mend my own clothing, but the results are far from satisfactory. Perhaps you could bring them to me sometime. I'd be happy to assist you. Oh, no, that would not do. Your talents will be wasted on such menial tasks as mending. Currently, I only have a single uniform that has not yet been ruined by wear and tear. I reserve it for special occasions and keep it separate from my other uniforms. But really, I must not keep you from your work. I find it most admirable, and do not wish to be a distraction. I've already been pleasantly distracted, Mr. Graham. If you would kindly give me a moment to put all this away, I will return shortly. Oh no, please don't pause on my behalf. I will keep myself otherwise occupied. Mr. Graham reaches into his breast pocket and withdraws a small volume. Mr. Edmund Burke's Treatise on the French Revolution. We can both enjoy our respective hobbies and be perfectly happy. Without another word, Mr. Graham opens the book to his marked place. Oh, look how cute he is. Oh my gosh. Just reading. You return to your needlework, but the soft sounds of thread pulling against cloth are now accompanied by the occasional turning of pages. Fall asleep? No. Let's glance up at Mr. Graham. You catch Mr. Graham looking your way with a wistful expression on his face. He smiles sheepishly before returning to his book. The hours go by, made pleasurable by both your achievements and your quiet, content visitor. Just as you begin to feel a little stiff and tired, Mr. Graham thanks you for your company and takes his leave. He had no reason for coming, he just wanted to hang out. Well, that was really cute. Alright, I think that's a good place to stop for the week. Wait, let's go save the game. Save. Playing as Elizabeth Sharp, yes. Alright. Okay, so in the next game, we're going to... What are we going to do? Next week, we're going to probably date Mr. Graham some more. And maybe we'll find out about his mysterious family situation. Seems like there's something going on there. So, alright, thank you all for joining, and let me know what you guys think of Mr. Graham, because I think he is just delightful. I just love him. I think that it's just like, it's a really fun storyline, in my opinion. I think he's just really, really fun and cute and sweet. So, I like him. Alright. My voice isn't doing so hot again. Still getting well. So, thank you for joining, and have a wonderful day. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.